When I say stress, I really mean stress responses. A lot of people that I work with tell me, I don't have stress, I'm not stressed. And what they really mean is they're not overwhelmed by their stress. We all have stress. Stress is a part of life, and we actually need stress. We need challenges continuously throughout our life in these small, tolerable doses, so that way we can continue to build our capacity to handle greater challenges. So we actually want to be stressed. However, we don't want to have so many stressors or have so much stress or have our stress be so intense that we end up being overwhelmed by it and we can never get back to a calm, balanced state. So when you think of stress responses or stress, I want you to think of them occurring along a continuum. Sometimes your stressors will be mild, and so your stress will be mild as well. It'll be low intensity. But sometimes you'll have either a lot of stressors or really high intensity stressors, and that is going to create a greater stress response. Again, you want that. You want your body to respond to the challenges that it's facing. The problem is again, if you're not making your way back to that calm, balanced place, if you're not able to fully neutralize those stress responses. So stress responses occur along two basic pathways. The first pathway is hyperarousal. So you can think of that like a fight or flight, anxiety, this activation, this mobilization response. So remember, it occurs along a continuum. So it does not mean that you have clinical anxiety. It might just feel like you have anxiety in the moment or for several moments, days, weeks, hopefully not that long, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. So that hyperarousal is this sort of energized response. It's activated, you want to do something. And many people, when they talk about feeling this hyperarousal type response, they will say that they're restless, that they can't sit still, their mind is racing. There's just a lot of activity with that type of response, typically. The other pathway is hypoarousal. So hypoarousal looks more like a shutdown, overwhelm, a freeze response, in the vein of depression. Again, doesn't mean that you are clinically depressed. It just means that you are moving towards self-preservation. Also a very adaptive response. The problem is that you have to have the tools to move yourself out of that and away from that, back to that calm, balanced state. Now, the struggle with that hypoarousal is a lot of people, because it's an immobilization response, really struggle with motivation and energy. And so just beginning to take action, consistent action over time is really difficult and takes a lot of grit and determination. So one of the biggest mistakes that people make, well, there's several actual. One of them is just discounting their stress, denying that they have it. You cannot change anything that you're not aware of. And so one of the first steps that we teach in our program is how to really define your stress, how to become aware of your stress, what it looks like in this moment. And you'll use those same tools and that same set of skills in order to evaluate your stress in different moments, because it's plastic, it changes over time. So the other mistake that people often make is they're not doing anything about their stress, or they're not taking the right action. Now, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. I can kind of guide you and give you some tools to fine tune what it is that you're doing, but there's no one size fits all method to reducing stress responses. So some things are going to work better than others, and you'll figure that out along the way, but you do have to take consistent action over time. There's no magic pill here. You're not just going to join our program and your stress is going to be gone. You will have to do something. But knowing what your stress looks like will help you figure out what it is that you need to reduce your stress, and I'll show you how to evaluate if what you're doing is working. So it's really easy if you break down your stressors or those challenges and demands that you're facing to think, I don't really have that much going on, because we think of them individually, right? Like, you might see my puppies in the background. Oh my gosh, they're sleeping in a pile, so cute. Just got new puppies. So that is, as wonderful it is a stressor in my life. I have 3 kids. As wonderful as that is, it's a stressor. I run a business, and I'm very grateful that I'm in this position to do this, but it is also a stressor, probably many stressors. So individually, if I just think like, oh, they're just puppies, it's not so bad. Okay, it doesn't seem that bad. But when I recognize that I'm raising puppies and children and running a business and just trying to take care of myself, that's a lot. And so all of that adds up and produces my actual overall stress load. And so we'll help you break down what stressors you're facing, what are those challenges, what are those demands that you have to deal with, and really help you see sort of the overall quantity of them and the intensity of those stressors, because some stressors are low intensity and some are high intensity. So if you are ready to get back to your best self, whatever it looks like, when you are calm, balanced, mentally clear and focused, productive, happy, flexible, all of those wonderful things that come with low or no stress, then I can help you. So I'll show you how to get back to that calm, balanced place by doing two things. One, reducing your stressors, and two, reducing your stress. In order to do that, you have to become aware that you're stressed, and then you have to take consistent action over time. Remember, there's no magic pill, but if you really are determined to lower your stress and you commit to taking small, sustainable steps over time, I promise you, you'll lower your stress.